our sponsors. We definitely appreciate them. Without them, Dean, there would be no us.
Gotta have sponsors.
Welcome, guys, into the Matt and Todd Show experience. We hope everybody is having a fantastic day. I know that I am. Had a little R&R for a day or two. It's always good to get out of town a little bit. So what's been going on this weekend around here?
Oh, nothing much. Just football Fridays. And can you get me up on there? Wait, no, I got it right there.
High school football action.
High school. Not a lot going on in college.
Dean was at Cedar Bluff again, I think for the 84th time this year. Cedar Bluff Tigers have played every game at home this year. They've traveled none. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, they did travel together.
They did.
11 miles.
Yeah.
And
that's
out some more about
that's there and back, too, by the way.
Yeah, that's there and back. I found out some more about that. Woodford wanted to play at home. And if everybody's wondering, this is nobody's fault, but Cedar Bluff's played 10 of their last 12 games at home.
Yeah, it's just the way it's worked out.
Woodville wanted to play down there, won the home game for next year. Something about a 2-2 with Sandrock.
Mm-hmm.
And last year, Galesville had to play at Cedar Bluff because of
the swap for COVID.
The swap for COVID. So that's 3, and then they made the playoffs, won the region, so you automatically play at home. And so, yes. Cedar Bluff has played, well, it might not be 10 or 12, 9 of the last 12.
We like to give them a hard time. What's going on, everybody? Let's hit the comments, Dean, see what we got going on. Mr. Nico going over there big time, had a great game. The short of all shorts, the Short family. Shorty, what's going on? Doing out there, Short Crane? Hadn't seen
Shorty
him.
Crane?
Yeah,
I thought you meant Mike Short.
I hadn't seen him out there in a while. I hadn't seen Shorty around.
Short, we're going to get that furnace moved, Shorty.
Yeah, we need to get on top of that. Need to get a date set.
Yeah, we'll
rock by rock.
That won't take long.
Guys,
put it in town.
We've got a lot of stuff to talk about. Let's go through the list right here real quick. Local stats and reviews and previews. Also our player of the week. We got local breaks a state record over there, and we'll go into that. Hey, somebody reminds me of 1999, a college football team, and I guess you could say they're partying like it's 99, but I don't know what it is, and when I bring it up later, maybe some may agree, some may not. Some teams are playing, like just hanging on for their life just to barely get a win. We've noticed that a lot this weekend. Right. We're going to get to a lot of those games. App State's still hanging on. They throw a party on the field again, but they will be playing James Madison this week. So playing James Madison, which was a great team. I think they played in the championship last year. Yes. Got beat by South Dakota State, I think.
App State may have the toughest schedule in the country.
It's going to be tough.
North Carolina, A&M, and Troy. And they've won by 3, lost by 2 after they scored a 40-point fourth quarter and then won on the last play of the game.
Right? Yeah. Hail Mary.
You hate that for Troy.
Yeah. Not just basketball schools anymore. We got a few lists of teams that are 3-0. They're usually known to be college basketball teams. And we both have our top 10 for the week. So, Dean, let's just don't waste any more time. The people are here. People are live. And we got plenty of people on the page right now. Let's say hello to Aaron. And let's say hello
to... Did
Shorty
ever say anything?
Taylor. Yep, it needs to be gone. We got to get that furnace moved. After looking at y'all's high school reviews, I'm envious of the area. My local high schools aren't nowhere near this competitive. Yes, I did talk to Mr. Jones there. He is part of the high school collective. I think he does a little show out in the Arkansas, I think. Please correct me, Taylor, if that's correct. He said they're playing a lot of 8-on-8 football at high schools out there.
Oh. Is 8-on-8 exciting? Seriously, I don't know. I mean, it'd be very hard, I would think, especially if you were outmatched.
Yeesh, man. Guys, remember, it's real easy. Hit that subscribe button. Subscribe to our channel. We're growing every day. It's grew a lot just in this past month. It's real easy to find. We're everywhere. You can find us on Twitter. You can find us on Instagram. And we're going to be downloaded on iHeartRadio, Spotify, and Apple Podcast. And so let's jump right in here and throw the scores up on the screen. Dean, we have the Warriors going on the road, traveling down to Huntsville, Alabama, about an hour, 40 minutes from here. My son drives there at least twice a week. He should be rolling in now. They stayed
Where
a
is
little
Huntsville?
later. Huntsville. It's Huntsville.
But was it close to?
It's where he goes to school at.
Is it close to Coleman?
Yes.
Okay.
About an hour 40.
West Alabama.
Yeah, it's right there close to
I
Wallace
didn't
State.
know. I didn't
Pretty
know.
big school. I mean, it's a pretty good sized school.
Okay.
Hour 40-minute drive. The Warriors make a trip up there. Cade Hopper rushed for almost 30 yards, passed for 100 yards. Kai gets 62 catching. Little Frampton guy, I've kept up with him this summer. He works really hard. I mean, they all do.
Yes,
but he does too.
pretty good.
He has. He's contributed. He caught for 34 yards Friday. Johnson, the younger of the Johnsons, he had a couple of catches. And running the ball, Cherokee County seems like it was no problem for them. I think Jack even had about 40 yards rushing. Tay went over 100, and Cornejo went over 133 with 2 touchdowns. They had a great big win to travel on the road. They had a big second quarter. I noticed I got to listen in somewhat while I was up there, and the wife was walking around the shopping area, and I'm sitting in the car listening. And they had 3 touchdowns in the second quarter.
Wow. So now they're 4-1 now,
Yeah,
right?
414. Yeah, 3-1, 414 total yards of offense.
They're 4-1.
They
Wow.
held Hansville to 150.
Ooh, good defense. Which they've prided themselves on good defense this
Yes.
year. Even against
Piedmont or
the one they
Aniana.
lost. They didn't give up a ton of yards.
No.
The one guy had a lot of yards.
Fluff did.
But most of them came, he had over 100 in the rushing and receiving in the last quarter. So they've done a good job, their defense has.
100 passing, 300 rushing. So it's
Pretty balanced.
not too shabby. However, I always pick on them because I brag on them a lot. But they had 3 fumbles, looked like, with 14 penalties for 125 yards.
Ooh.
Guys,
That's why it wasn't.
we got to take.
What?
And that's the players. They need to focus and stay on track. And we're pulling for y'all, and you can make a good run at it. But when we go getting in these harder teams, and next week ain't going to get no easier, or the next, those penalties can hurt you.
I'll see what he's talking about now. I talked to a player who were nameless.
Yeah.
And he wasn't real pleased with their. He was like, we should have won that a lot worse. I'm like, you won 49-15.
Yeah, well.
And he's like, we had a ton of penalties and we had a lot of turnovers.
Yeah, well, you got good senior leaders out there, and they'll hold them responsible. And
I saw where Horton caught a couple of touchdown passes.
yeah, had a
Well,
good
you
game.
said
yeah. Kai had 62 receiving, some touchdowns. This is what I'm worried about. They've had a few turnovers the last few games, so they get those things put together and take care of some of these penalties. And who knows, they're down there and their refs, and who knows, they might
We don't know.
they might have their refs with them. Does that make sense?
Could have.
Because Lord knows I have been a part of many of those kind of games, and I ain't going to say where I was at because it don't matter.
Right.
And reffing's just not real good this year.
Right.
It's just, and they need help.
Well,
so if you want to be a
short-handed.
ref, and go out there and go apply, go to Gadsden down there, and then apply for the license, and just go on and get it. Now moving on for far as this week coming, as our scores roll down there on the bottom of the screen, Cherokee County will be hosting Munford.
And you said that Mumford had a Tennessee sign in?
Yes, he will be playing defensive back for your Tennessee Vols. Sylvester Smith.
Wow.
Says he also plays baseball. He's pretty good at that too. 5'11", maybe 200 pounds. Points for and against 133 to 114. They're 2-0 on the road. Munford is. 4A Region 4. They're 3-1, 2-1 in the region. They lost to Anniston 55-7.
Well, Anniston's good. I know where Anniston had moved up into the top 4.
Yeah.
So you got Anniston Hanley. What a matchup that's going to be if they play. Mm-hmm. And Montgomery Catholic.
Yeah.
That's a 4A's tough.
Yeah.
There's number 3 in 4A.
That South 4A is
Yeah, that's
dog beaters. And see, I think that may contribute to how centers they've really had to play those years and years of playing South.
Yeah.
They've had to be tough. Jacksonville, Anniston, Hanley, you
got
to play them. You got to play them all the time. Well, good luck with that region.
Yeah, Jacksonville's very good.
Very good. They just beat Cleveland County 42-28. They jumped on pretty quick. It was 27-7 in the first quarter. They had a kickoff to go back for 6. One of the boys scored on that one. Had 262 total yards in that game, and it said all rush. It said no pass.
Wow.
Now, I'm looking at highlights, trying to study Munford a little bit. I don't know much about them.
No pass.
That's what it showed. Now, that may not be – can't be true.
Well, some teams, we've seen Fife before and Valley Head's doing it too. They're just not throwing much. and they're still gaining good yardage. I mean, they have a unbelievable running attack, and they just don't throw it much.
Let's
but
check
to
on
have
our-
0, you don't see that much.
Mr. Bicuspid.
Jeff Ballard, how you doing, buddy?
We are doing well. Roll Tide, Road Tide.
You a Bama fan, Jeff?
Holly Molly Wright. Go Warriors.
Holly Molly.
Coach Short. Etowah game will be, yes, absolutely, Coach Short. That will have a lot to do with that, probably that second place area, I guess. I mean, because Aniana seems like, I guess they're
in the driver's seat
Yes,
right now.
right now.
I mean, they could lose some
Yes,
games,
sure.
but I'd say, what does it go? Aniana, then Center and Etowah right there together.
yeah.
And I don't even know who the fourth would be. Goodwater? I mean, Good Hope,
Yeah.
maybe. Mumford's probably the fourth.
Yeah. Aaron says no one wants to be a ref. They just want to gripe about all the calls.
Wait.
Yes, that's
Mumford's
true.
out of region. Mumford's out of region.
Yeah.
Mumford's not in there. I'm sorry. Who said that? They just want to gripe about the calls?
The majority of the time, the refs were right and the fans were wrong. Yeah, that's true. That's what I'm saying. So, I'm always the guy, if you don't want to do nothing about it, then don't gripe about it. So I'll just make a quick comment. The referee's just not really good.
Right.
And they need help. So go there and sign up. And they pay good. I think it's like $100 a game.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can we do it?
No. Look at Andalusia did to Montgomery Academy. Okay.
We could do it, couldn't we? Andalusia?
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be a ref.
Munford threw for 72 yards. There you go. Thank you, Coach, for cleaning that up for us. I knew it showed 0, and I'm like, maybe they just
That
didn't.
sounds like the 90s.
They just didn't write it down. Hey, look, I'm talking about highway battles. This Sandrock Collinsville battle's been going on for a long time. Coach Ernie got the win to put him as the most winningest coach at Collinsville. Congratulations to him and crew for that. Teddy and the guys, they do a fantastic job there. Coach Heath and the Traveling Wildcats take a hard loss up there. 2A Region 7 battle out. By the end of the game, I think they're probably going to have some kids maybe be out. I guess I don't know. We don't talk about injuries, so we're not sure. But Sandrock took a tough loss up there to Ernie and the guys. So, however, this region they're in, they will be playing West End this week.
West End's had a very good team this year.
They did beat Gaston 50-0.
50-0.
And the Gaston has gotten better.
Have they gotten better?
They are better.
Okay.
The new coach
I
out
knew
there.
They were down a little bit.
Starkey, if Bo's out there, Logan said that Decatur was tough and that they were good. Yeah, Decatur's always a tough out. We played them back
Yeah, we're going.
years and years ago.
Logan, we'll get into that here in
yeah.
just a second for sure. But yes, they did.
Gaston is getting better. 2A Region 6, West End is. They are 4-1, 2-1 in the region. They lost September the 9th to Southeastern 21-14. So that was a tough game for them. So, well,
Wow.
come on in there, Jack.
Groupies. Staying in.
Coach Heath and the bunch will be at home this weekend to play West End. Wish them all the luck and hope they're hey, guys, just go in there and get your minds right and get back to practice tomorrow and see how all that.
Sandrock's had some good wins this year.
Yeah, see how all that turns out for them. They're reeling with some things. I mean, they know they lost their starting quarterback and their tailback move, so I mean, it is what it is. But he has made no excuses, and you can't lay down, just quit. Say,
you gotta
here's
keep
what it
playing.
is, and here's
Okay.
here's what it is, and we're just gonna quit playing football. I mean,
Right.
you can't.
No, you can't.
And he's not that kind of coach.
No.
Not the whole staff. Coach Bates or not. Those guys have been doing this for a long time. So
That's the thing about football. You got to roll with the punches no matter what happens. I mean, if you get down to, unless you get down to 10 guys, you got to keep rolling out there.
yes. Now you was at, of course, we mentioned earlier at the 84th home game for
Yeah, Cedar Bluff.
the non-traveling
they play at
Beckett's.
home this week.
Yes, they have Spring Garden. I got some highlights for that game. But tell us about what happened over there Friday night. They just
Well,
run into a little bit of buzzsaw. Couldn't get the
Buzzsaw.
offense just clicking right along. They give up a lot of yards.
yeah, they did.
lot
They
of
had
passing
two
yards.
players out. Defensive back Bucky Leak, which everybody knows who that is. Austin Richardson seemed to be hampered too at that corner. I think he played some, but neither one of these guys were 100%. And Decatur Heritage kind of took advantage of that. They threw for about 250, 275 yards.
Wow.
Big plays. Their quarterback was fantastic.
Okay. They always got some baseball kid that's the quarterback.
Well, I seen their quarterback last year.
Yeah.
Is in North Alabama.
Yeah.
But so they scored first, and then Cedar Bluff came down and looked good on that drive. Caden Pack played quarterback in place of Lee. Threw a touchdown pass, tied it up. But then big play again for Decatur Heritage. I don't think Cedar Bluff was down at that point. They wasn't down mentally, you know what I mean. But Decatur Heritage got the ball back, and that quarterback ripped about an 80-yarder. And after that, it
Run, 80-yarder?
80-yard run.
Wow.
And just there wasn't a lot of penalties and stuff in the game. It's just Decatur Heritage got on top, and they just didn't. They were very good in the passing game, and it just didn't go it did not go Cedar Bluff's way.
What's Logan got for us? And another thing, we are going to have to work hard this week. We'll have Spring Garden, and Spring Garden is always good. You are correct, Mr. Young Padawan.
Right, but they seemed like they did okay against the rush, except for that one long play.
Squirrels, Jeff. We got a big giant squirrel named Jack.
What? Squirrels?
Yeah, Jeff said, is that a big giant squirrel coming in the room? It is.
Possum.
Yeah, my pet possum named Olivia. So they just kind of sound like they run into a buzzsaw.
Yeah,
they kind of got into their head a little bit and just.
Decatur Heritage, scored 35 against Valley Head. They'd scored 21 against Coosa Christian, but I think it was a close game, 35-21. So, and 43 the other night, and they just had a good night. The quarterback and the receivers had a very good night, and they seemed to me like they were very, very thorough and good.
Well, that's the thing. I thought adding that team when we got rid of Summiton last year, Cedar Bluff traveled down there kind of to win the region, sort of.
Right.
I knew with Summiton going out and Decatur coming in, right then when we seen it reline, anybody that's kept up with football around here in this area, you knew it's going to be a tough out.
Yeah, Decatur's a tough out. They are.
We figured they'd probably be favored for the region.
Yeah. We don't hear a lot about them, but they're a good team.
And with Valley Head,
I thought they looked good.
Taking care of them, then Valley Head would be in the driver's seat and Coosa was knocking on the door.
Right.
So we'll talk about that game. Cedar Bluff stumbles and
Browning got close to he's up around 800 all-purpose now, and I thought Eli McFry played fantastic for Cedar Bluff. Had 2 circus catches on deep balls. One he was completely covered, and he comes back inside and gets. So he was even in losses you have
lessons,
good moments,
good learning lessons. Yeah. Things you can take from the game.
He had a couple of big catches, but maybe Cedar Bluff will get back on his feet and rebound from that. They've got a tough schedule ahead. They got Spring Garden and they got Valley Head.
Go to Valley Head for Valley Head's homecoming game.
Right.
Talking about this week coming ahead, 1A Region 6, Spring Garden. Yes, I think Spring Garden's still playing football. I think. Yes, they're playing football. Yeah, they got a pretty good team. Yeah. They've been their last 2 years. Been our player.
Got their stats.
Our player of the year has actually been for Spring Garden the last 2 years.
They've lost 5 games in 3, 4, 5 years.
They have a big old line up front with Jacob Welch and company. It's going to look like they want to add another win to the column. It could be a high-scoring game. Over the past few years, it's just been 30-0, 40-0. It may turn out again that way. It's been a lot of big wins for that old region. Spring Garden's kind of took care of business with Cedar Bluff. 182-53 is Spring Garden right now, points for and allowed. They are 2-0 on the road. It was 40-0 last year. Cedar Bluff is 138-180 points for and allowed. They are 2-2 at home. So they took a bad region loss, but all was up in the air here for the Tigers because it's not a region game for them to play. Yeah. But it'd be good to get things back on track before they travel to Valley Head. Right. And we're going to talk about that game with them and Coosa in just a second. Okay. They'll have homecoming coming up next week. Valley Head is rolling right now. A lot of confidence. Spring Garden Panthers, a lot of confidence. They are ready to travel to LD Bruce Field. How'd they fare this week against Wintersburg? Seemed like they just took care of business as usual.
33-16, Matt. The stats I've got, they moved to 4-1, 2-1 in region. Chapel Pope had 122 rushing, 65 passing. No, he had actually 73 passing, 195 total. Had an interception on defense. Cam Welsh had a good night, 91 yards, 7 tackles. John Welsh had 58 yards, 32 receiving, and 7 tackles.
Little John is not little
10th
anymore. Dude, he's like he grow. I told Mark, I don't know, he's going to put a block on his head. He's growed like just this past few months.
Oh yeah, I know.
I mean, Jacob was a lot taller. He's not a whole lot taller now. It's amazing.
So I guess he just took. They've got 4 backs. I mean, they've got Bates, Welsh, Pope, and the other Welsh. And Bates didn't play the other night.
Yes, he didn't play much.
And he did play a little bit.
I think somebody said he played a little.
But
May had a couple of carries just to getting him ready to probably get back in time for this week.
But John, Chappell, and Cam combined for 270 yards.
Wow.
So if you've got your leading rusher out, that'll work. Right?
Yeah, good job, Coach Howard and company.
270 yards rushing from their 3 backs, and they had over 350.
Of course, hats off again to Coach Ragsdale. We have to mention him. He's pitching shutouts every week.
Yeah, I know they got 16, but I bet. Let me see the scoring. How the scoring went. It was 13-8 at one point.
182-53. You hearing me there?
Yeah, that's a pretty big.
182-53. That's points for and against Spring Garden.
They were up pretty bad.
Dean, we can't go no further. We've got to talk about it's one of the happiest games. I'm getting text all over. I'm hanging out up there, walking down the sidewalk, checking things out. I'm getting a lot of text about this Valley Head Coosa game. I mean, and people's posting on the page. Thank you all. Avery was on there putting up scores. That's exactly what the side notes page is for. Thank you guys all for doing that. Tell us hit us with some numbers from the game.
Well, of course, Coosa gained 415 yards in that game. I just studied those. I don't just know these off the top of my head.
Well, you can tell people you do. We know. He's Nostradamus, guys. Well, you don't doubt the diamond. What is wrong with y'all?
Of course, Bain, 182 yards. It's going to put him close to 1,000 in 4 games.
They're just ripping.
Yeah.
Defensively?
33. But Coosa sounds like they had their way, but 415 yards is a lot of yards.
Well, Monsdale, how many did it show he had?
176.
Now, I was told from people from Valley Head that Monsdale was
That's the quarterback.
The tailback.
The tailback had 176.
He's really good. People in Valley Head was really bragging on him. Wow. How good he is. His lane recognition was a compliment that was paid to him, and his speed burst was another compliment paid to him. So I'm sorry, somebody had to lose that game. What a throwdown for 1A region.
Yeah, and
1A region 6. Yeah.
And Valley Head again rushed for 303 yards. That's every game this year, guys.
Well, until and I text Coach Jody. We got numbers now, so we can get more stats with Valley Head. We like to brag on. I need to get up there.
Yeah. Well,
Coach Hammond, text him.
Coach Hammond.
Congratulations. Told him on a good traveling win, man. They come way off that mountain, way down there to Gadsden. I bet them kids didn't sleep all night.
Oh, no. Wild game. 35-33.
Well,
wow.
If you wasn't at the game, if you didn't hear, kind of sort of to sum him up, I mean, it was pretty much decided with a field goal missed by Coosa in the last minute of the game. Coosa had kind of run away with the game. I mean, I'm just seeing scores. People are texting me, they're putting them on the page. It's a great game. And Valley Head, of course, is down. Well, they block a punt, go score, kick Coosa the ball. Coosa goes down and scores. Wow. So then they got to kick Valley Head the ball. Then they go down, and I think they had to punt or something, and Coosa gets the ball. Valley Head scored again. So then once Coosa gets the ball back, no time left, and they're just down those few points. 35-33 was the final.
Oh, wow.
So they're going to go down and kick a field goal to win 36-35.
And they missed it.
Wide right, 20-yard. And I've watched him kick.
Was it not far?
No, I think somebody said 20-25.
You hate that for a kid.
Yeah, Burns. I've watched him kick. I went down there early in the year and watched him kick. He could kick that in backwards. I'm serious. I've seen him kick 50.
Well, it's different when you've got guys rushing at you, and it's for the win, and the crowd's going crazy, and it's just. I can't imagine.
I could not. No, neither. So,
Jeff, what do you think? You were a kicker. Jeff, you were our kicker. Could you imagine kicking a field goal
for the win?
For the win,
probably to win the region.
Which I'm not knocking Jeff, But when we played for Coach Bullock,
Well, you
we
probably
never
did.
kicked a field goal
No,
for
probably.
the win.
And it wasn't,
And it wasn't against the kickers.
No.
It's just not how we played back then.
Hey, yeah, you didn't need tight ends because I asked to be tight end one time. Shut up and snap the ball. Yeah, what are you doing? You don't
But there
throw the
wasn't-
ball.
Nobody. I get maybe somebody won a game with a kick. I think Cedar Bluff did beat Sandrock one year there with an exchange student kicker.
They said lots of pressure on kickers. It
Jeff
is.
said that.
Yeah, I mean, it is. And I've seen him make way harder kicks.
You got any squirrels coming in your room? Oh, he's talking about my room at home.
Oh,
We used to hang out in there and shoot pool, play darts.
he thinks Bowling kept him from going in that position.
Well, I mean, it just wasn't a big thing back in there.
No, it wasn't.
Nobody kicked.
Nobody
field
did.
goals. I don't ever remember anybody trying a field goal against us.
No. Aaron says we thought that we was beat when he was able to get it through without being blocked. So
Wow. Well, see, you got to consider that too at high school. You know, you're pretty.
when you see the
There's
kick
a good
go,
chance it might get blocked.
you see it go up and it don't get blocked. You're like, oh no, because I'm telling you, this kid don't miss. It's very rare that that's a unusual thing for him to miss the ball. So if you're listening, or his dad, great people. I've talked to his dad a lot down there. They're good people, man.
Right.
Please don't hang your head. And it takes more than one guy to lose a game. It's a complete thing, and I am 100% sure that Coach Whitmire, Teddy,
Right.
I'm sure that he's preaching the same thing.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Hey, guys, the whole team
this ain't
lost.
pro ball.
Somebody could have had a better block, so we could have scored another touchdown, so it wouldn't have been this close to need a field goal to win it. That's
Right.
probably how I'm sure Teddy's going to approach
Yes,
that.
yes, yes.
It shouldn't have even come to a field goal. We should have been ahead because we had been ahead, and we let them come back. So you can blame it on their defense too. If somebody,
Look at that. They're gonna fire this guy if they lose that ball game.
we're watching the Bengals and
I'm
the
sorry,
Cowboys,
I
it's
didn't
tied
mean
up.
to get it right, but yes,
So
yes,
Teddy,
I'm sure.
it's defense, it's offense, it's special teams. It takes all three. So Kusa, don't hang your head. You bounce back and hang in there and be runner up in that region and get a good playoff spot.
Let me tell you something that don't happen. I know all y'all seen that movie with Tom Cruise, All the Right Moves, where they lose the game at the end, and the coach comes in blaming the players. That's a movie, guys. That does not happen.
No.
Hey, let's have a big cry, Salvucci. You fumbled on the one. Well, and the guy's like, well, what are you even doing running a play on an on one?
Yeah.
And, guys, the reality is most coaches that we know try to make their players feel better about the mistakes they make.
And sometimes I've done it. Sometimes on losses, I eat a loss. It's my fault. Like if it was a bang bang play and I got a kid round in third headed home and I seen him, it's 2 outs. We lost the game because I seen him. I thought the kid just made a good catch at home, and I had seen him make 3 drops at home, and I'm thinking, I'm seeing him. We're going to win this game right now. I don't like overtimes. I wasn't ever into that. I'm a bang bang kind of guy, and I seen him and we lost the game, and I smiled after the game. And I got him up and I said, "That is my fault. Don't hold any of that against yourselves. Y'all played a fantastic game. Old Coach Matt blew it." And then sometimes they drop a lot of balls. They strike out. So you know what we got to do? Mm-hmm. Go back to work.
Yeah, you can't be.
Go back to work.
I'm not a real big fan of don't make them feel worse than they already feel. If they're just blowing assignments, I mean, like they've got this, if they're playing man to man and they're not even watching him.
Some guy gets over behind you.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, that wasn't the only shootout around. What about that Galesville Appalachian? Wow.
Yeah, tell us about that one.
52-34. Well, that game was 38-34.
Yes.
When we were texting,
Yep.
we was like, gosh, Lee, we hope Nap gets
Yeah,
this
we was pulling for it.
Now, I will tell you this. I've heard some good things about Appalachian this year.
They're better. This
A lot better.
team that Marcus played 2 years ago up there had some freshmen quarterback and some linemen, and they wasn't real good. And Preston went off, had some crazy kind of night rushing.
Rushing the ball.
Yeah, Marcus had a lot of tackles. They was okay. They wasn't real good.
So that's the bunch from 2 years
But
ago.
now they're better.
Yes, I've heard they're very good. Now, I don't know, as far as region implications, how good they are, but they're better. And it was 38-34, but they scored twice late and ended up winning 52-34.
Well,
and I've got the stats right.
yeah,
here.
guys, and what you need to remember, we're not taking up for just 1A football, but honestly, for 1A football, 8 or 9 of your guys are usually playing both ways.
Right.
At least 8 or 9. Sometimes the quarterback don't, and maybe sometimes you have a lineman or two that don't. But other than that, guys, your skill position people, guess what they're doing? They're playing both ways, and they're wore out, and it gets tired, and it sounds like down at the end of the game that may be what happened.
Well, it sounds like they're still plugging away pretty good, though. Higgins, 130 yards, 3 touchdowns. Kyler Bradley had 2 touchdown catches, 24 and 12. So, they bounced back this week, and I hated that they come up short. But, 34 points. Sounds like they're finding their offense. And, they were probably still... It don't shock me that both teams in that Cedar Bluff.
Bain has 1,002 yards in 4 games.
Wow, okay, I was wrong.
He just went
short of 1,000.
He's right. He just went up.
That's bad when you insult somebody when you say they only have 930 yards, and so he's got 1,000.
He went over 1,000. That's a great and.
But it doesn't. What I was saying, it doesn't shock me that Gillville or Cedar Bluff lost after what they went through.
Yeah, I know.
That last Friday.
You got to get back down. Big game, and they were hurt. And a lot of the players, both teams, a lot of knees banged together, and
we're hoping Gillville can get off the schneid. And who do they got this coming?
Yes, I'll break that in. And before Valley Head, after probably they're in the driver's seat for that region, they will be home with Ider. That'll be a good game. Yeah, Ider is tough as nails. Taylor Dalton. Taylor's our biggest fan.
Oh yeah.
I've got to get over. I got to get sent him a hat and a shirt. These Ider team, they're banged up too.
Right.
But let me tell you about this Ider group. They're tough.
Oh, they are tough, and they would even be tougher. They lost a running back.
Yes.
And
very tough.
And man, they really would be. We saw them play in the spring.
Yeah. Tough group. And then the week after, Valley Head will have, again, they will be at home. The next week, they will have homecoming at Valley Head. The Purple Tigers, they will host the local Cedar Bluff Tigers, the red and white. And that will be the week after. And then on October the 27th, circle this date on your calendars. Somebody may have to get – they play Collinsville.
Who's that?
Valley Head.
Ooh. That's week.
And they don't.
What's the date on that?
The 27th. I'm gonna see. I'm gonna check our calendar.
That's probably week 10.
I'm gonna see where we're gonna be at. I'm gonna try to make that's.
I think that's all out of region play.
It is.
We can probably go to that.
And that's one of those games you see preseason. You're like, well, I've seen Ernie some this summer, and he's got some young guys, quarterback, tailback, and Valley Head. We thought, well, they're probably gonna be good. This Bain kid, and they're gonna.
Right.
And then they get and then they get another running back come in. You're like, well, darn, they probably are going to be pretty darn good. And now, towards the end of the year, this Valley Head Collinsville game.
So, Bain's got 3,000 yards rushing in the last 15 ball games.
Yeah, Jeff says he couldn't imagine not playing both ways in high school. Exactly. Absolutely. I mean, that's just how it is around here, guys. This is not Hoover, Thompson, Auburn High School, McGill, Tula, Mobile Catholic, Montgomery. I mean, and center kids a lot of their kids play both ways.
They do.
Most of the time, your line don't have to, but some of them do too. They play on the end. I mean, those guys play. Jack and Jack Cornejo, their leading tailback, is linebacker.
He is the leading tackler in the two leading rushers, or 2 of the 3.
Leading tacklers on the team.
The leading tacklers in the county.
You guys got to play your best on best. Okay? So, Galesville come up short a little bit over there at Appalachian, but they will be traveling again. The traveling Naps will be at 1A Region 6 Victory Christian. Victory Christian is 2-3, 1-2 in region. They had a bad loss to Spring Garden last week, 42-14, and at Whitesburg Christian a few weeks back. It was 27-20. It was a close game. So,
we hope so.
The traveling Naps.
Yeah.
We're looking forward to them getting off on the right foot and scheduling all that in.
They're getting close. I mean, they lost that one by 1. Looked like that one went down to the wire the other night. I mean, that was 38-34 with not a long time left. And ended up 52-34.
And we've talked.
Obviously, we want to see them win.
Oh, yeah, I know. We're pulling for all our county teams, so. Right. That's kind of where everybody is got next week. Let's run back through it again. Backwards, Galesville's at Victory Christian. We like their chances for them to be over there against the 2-3 Victory Christian team. Sandrock will be playing West End. It is at Sandrock. We need to get out there and see those guys. Spring Garden, 5-1, 2-1 region. The only loss is to Wadley, 9-0.
Mm-hmm.
I was at that game. Amazing. They've been on the road, and we're going to get back over there and see them pretty soon. They will be at Cedar Bluff, LD Bruce Field, where it's been very comfortable for them lately to win games 30, 40-0.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that's how it's been.
Yeah.
And of course, Cherokee County will be playing Sylvester Smith and Company, the Munford Lions.
That may be a good one. Where's it at?
It's that center.
Friday.
Yeah.
The reason I'm asking is because it just seems like there's a lot of Thursday
There has
games
been.
this year.
Cherokee County, I'll be at that game. They'll play Munford, and everybody else mostly will be traveling. Except you'll be at Cedar Bluff game, so that'll take care of that. Gales will be gone, and Sandrock will be at home. And we'll get into that.
Quite quickly, Matt, from our neighboring state, Chattooga got their
how's
first
that
win
going?
of the year, beat Murray County.
Murray County.
Cedartown is number 1 in the state in Class 4A.
Yeah.
Number 1 in the state.
I had they were favored by like 20. Chattooga was.
Mm-hmm. And they won by 21.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
How about that? That's that because I watched Benton and them when they come on pick some games. How did who else was it? Was
Tryon got beat by Model.
Yes, that's the game I wanted to know.
Who,
Trying to Model, how'd that
which
go?
Center has beat them both, but Model won at 31-27.
Coach,
It was not supposed to have been a good game.
What was the score?
31-27.
Coach Kelly told me he's Model won, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Coach Kelly said, I think we was just shooting the breeze, and he said, Model's going to play them a good game.
Well,
they're a little better than what people think.
They did. I think
And I said,
that was a shocker.
I said, they could beat them. They had 2 or 3 touchdowns. He said, no, about a touchdown. Coach Kelly will have to call in games over there.
That's what it is.
He played over there, and he coached some over there at Georgia. He knows all those teams very well.
I know Rockmart's still good, pretty good around there. Look out for them next year. I got one story to tell about Georgia and playing ball up there. We played Rockmart in a middle school game one time, and we kicked off to this boy, and the boy's name was Dudabird.
Say it again.
Dudabird. Dudabird. Not Doo-Doo Bird. Duda.
Dudabird.
Dudabird.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, so he catches it, and guys, and I'm not knocking our kids. I think the guy was this good. I've never seen anybody trotting in a kickoff back easier
Deion Sanders style.
than Dudabird. Well, Dudabird left Rockmart and went to Hiram, so I've always kept up with him. I look at his stats the other day. He's got 23 carries this year for Hiram, which is a 5 or 6A.
2,000 yards.
Just not 2,000. 469. 20 yards a hit. That's ridiculous.
I believe that'll get it done.
And he's got 2 catches, too, for 88 yards. So he's got 25 touches this year, guys, for 557 yards. So I never felt that bad about that kickoff return anymore after that.
No.
Dudabird. Javian Watley, I think is his name. So keep up
I've
with
been
him.
disappointed to have not played both ways in high school. Yeah.
Who said that?
Mark said he would have been disappointed if he didn't.
Yeah, I
have
know
to.
kids back then got mad if you took them off defense. What?
Jeff said Hiram's 2 minutes from his house over there.
Well, ask him tell him to keep an eye on Dudabird.
Yeah, go up there to the game. Yeah, we'll
We got another field reporter.
get some pictures, Jeff. We'll fix you up. We'll get you a Matt Todd show shirt sent out there.
Can we get free dental work? He's a dentist.
Yeah, throw that in. We'll get you in all the games. I'll get you a pass.
You
State championship game, Georgia state championship.
Georgia, Arkansas, Rhode Island,
Oh,
wherever you want.
wherever you want to go, California.
Jeff's a good fella. And you know, Jeff, and I'll say this, we're not going to get into specific stats, but Jeff was our leading rusher my last year with 900 yards.
Yeah,
900. We went 9-3. We lost to Sandrock in overtime.
of course. Sandrock's dogs, man. Back in the day, I mean, they were just the kids don't understand.
Oh man!
And I try to, and when I go to Sandrock visit, they don't.
0-0 in regulation.
They don't know because these kids are like 16, so they have no idea. I was like, guys, 25, 30 years ago, you played Sandrock. Cedar Bluff Sandrock was a game.
Once he got there, 9:47.
That's what he rushed for, 9:47.
Yeah, and we lost the very last game of the year.
Sandrock's tough.
Yeah, and the Sandrock game. What killed me is it just didn't matter. We outgained them and they beat us. It didn't matter.
It's Jackaway, man.
But you know what? When we get down to the 5, they tighten up.
Him and Jeff battling.
You got to score.
Chess match, wasn't it?
It was awful.
It's two good coaches, though.
Yeah, he was.
Jeff
was still young and
yeah.
only been a coach 3 years.
Yeah.
But it turned, Cedar Bluff had turned the corner.
Yeah. And Sandrock had just been, 5 years out from winning the state championship?
5, yes.
So good games, guys. Y'all don't know the Sandrock Cedar Bluff. Y'all don't know.
Oh, it was a good
That was the battle. I mean, it was
from
the older back in the day, the other games in that region was foregone that Cedar Bluff won those games. The Sandrock game.
From about 85 to 92, it was as good a game as there was.
Absolutely. 95, 6, 7, 99, 2000.
Yeah,
Well,
but I'm
Sandrock,
talking about them years consecutive. Every one of them was close.
and Sandrock took away those, like when Mark played there in those years, and when you had all the Danny's kids was quarterbacks.
The McMakins.
Yep. And then the Chestnut. I mean, you had guys in those years, man. Yeah.
I used to could name all Sandrock's quarterbacks when it wasn't real hard because you
No.
McMakin. But then you had a guy named Rusty Nail. No, Trail. Not Nail. Trail. Dusty
Trail. I didn't know him.
Yes, and then you had Heath Chestnut. Of
North
course.
Heath, yes. That's
You
Chet.
had Toby Clanton,
Carson's
Chris
Dale.
Battles.
Toby.
I'm wanting to say Daniel. Golly, what was his last
Mark.
name? guys?
Mark's usually on here.
Mark Daniel Chambers. Maybe was their quarterback.
Thursday's
one year.
game this year is not only a result of whether but referee short. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Mark, for the.
But now here lately, I don't know. I don't know who their. I know who their quarterback is
It's Carson.
now.
Yeah, he's boy.
And then it was
Ace.
Ace.
Yeah.
There was a
And-
Josh Stimpson one year,
I don't know him.
and a Jansen Alexander one year.
And with
Justin.
rounding out the high school stuff, of course we got to do our player of the week. But while we're talking about Thursday games, Piedmont goes to Ohatchee, 42-14, takes the win. We figured they would. That's Ohatchee's down a little bit. Enos
Piedmont's playing well.
is not there anymore. The one with the hair that we used to meet on. Boy, he was so good. Wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
He could run people down. He
Eli
was great.
Enos. I wonder if he plays ball anywhere.
I don't know.
Anybody know if Eli might Coach Short? I know you know. Does
Yeah.
Eli Enos play ball anywhere?
Yeah. But they get the win. But that's not the reason I bring it up. We got two reasons we bring that up for Piedmont Bulldogs. Coach Smith and the Fighting Smiths over there, and the Fighting Scooters and Blanchards.
Won 462 games.
179 touchdowns.
That's rushing and passing, obviously. That's ridiculous.
State record. Now, I just want to remind you of there is a national championship quarterback that comes right off the top of my head that played here in the state. Now, his record is better than his. Jameis Winston did play in Alabama, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Did he have 179 total touchdowns? He did not.
I don't know whose record did he break.
To see that, guys, it's crazy.
Yeah, that's a lot of touchdowns. I mean, that's
180. He's going to finish the year, and they've got what?
he'll finish.
Six-
Let's just say
If they go to the semifinal,
he'll have close to 200, maybe over 200.
He's just broke it, and it's the middle of the year.
I don't know what.
Huh?
I want to see something right quick.
It's the middle of the year.
Trevor Lawrence was the best player in the nation.
Let's check that out before we move to college stuff.
All right, Trevor Lawrence.
And our player of the week, we're going to delegate over that a little bit. We've talked about it, kicked it around, and it's one of those weeks again where it's just like you write down two names and you put it in a hat. And you just draw the name out. And there was only one way we could kind of come up with that. And we're going to have the player of the week here in just a second. Dean's getting some numbers
This is good stuff.
on Lawrence about where his total numbers as in high school when he played. And we watched him play his high school championship game in the Georgia Dome. The last game over there, and he was like 13 for 20. He had a terrible game.
Yes,
I thought
they
Dean
still
had-
won 58.
I thought Dean had sold me some snake oil, telling me this Trevor Lawrence kid was the best thing he's ever seen. I'm like, what are you talking about? The tailback's got 500 yards rushing, and their defense was great that day.
I think he's got more touchdowns. I think he's actually might be the leader. He's the leader in total yardage in Georgia State history with Watson second. Come on, give me his high school stuff here, people. All right. He went 52-2 in high school.
52-2. That's pretty good. That's
161, so he's got him. He had 161 touchdown passes and 21 interceptions. It's a pretty good ratio.
161 and 21.
And 13,900 yards.
Oh, God.
Okay, so he has more touchdowns than Trevor Lawrence.
Well, congratulations, Jack. You've got more touchdowns than
I'd like to know how many yards Jack
two
has.
national champions. It's on the. We could find
I'm
it.
sure he's over 10.
I did know. I think maybe Bo told me or something. Yeah, I think it's right at it.
It's got to be close.
It was right at 10. It's like 9,000.
Because I know 1 year there he had 35. Or
Winston usually watches. If Winston's on, maybe he can throw some numbers. I think it was 9,700, probably 9,900.
What's bad is the state's leading touchdown scorer, but not Piedmont. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
But Piedmont's had some players.
And who's going to beat this record? Who they got? I don't know who they got coming. He's been the quarterback over there so darn long.
And his brother was 3 years.
I know. It's like when the McMeekins
They still don't have the McMeekins. They had an 8-year run.
Yeah.
The Hayes have a 7, unless they've got another.
Danny Mac, boy, I love old Danny Mac.
They had an 8-year run. They might have had a 9.
So, and that brings us into this point. Before we finish up, we've got the last point, and then we'll do our player of the week. Piedmont, congratulations again, Jack. They play Anniston Thursday night. Guys, Mark brought up Thursday night game, and we're talking about Jack at Piedmont. Anniston is coming to the Field of Champions. That
top 5 teams on both
will
sides.
Be a throwdown. 4A versus 3A, and Coach Rico and Coach Steve. And neither one care about one's 3 or 4 or somebody's ranked 2 or 5. I'm telling you, this year, Coach White, it's just something different going on over there, Dean.
Rico White, yeah,
something.
They're good. They've hit the. And I didn't hear a lot preseason about them.
Yeah, they're
a little, but not like.
They've kind of muffled down. The guys have really come together this year. Mm-hmm. Their whole problem at Anniston for the years before has just been the squabbling amongst their staff. Usually, they've got crazy good athletes.
Well, I'm glad to see.
We all know that.
You know, they beat Hanley last year.
We know that.
Right.
Now, I think Coach White, he's been there enough now. Now they know it. He's got them believing. He's got them all one heartbeat up there. I'm very excited about Thursday. I may just go over there. Coach Smith, if you're watching, I may come Wednesday night about midnight.
We're tailgate.
If there's a guy out in the field in a tent, it's me. May just camp out.
I'll be with him, man. Can we grill and all?
Can we grill at the long? We can't burn the field though. Now that's new. We'll go out in the park a lot and cook, Coach Smith. So if there's 2 crazy looking guys,
2 days worth of groceries.
It's we'll have Connecticut. Come on down there and eat with us, Coach. Scooter, James, y'all come down there.
We'll get some of them chicken breasts.
Bring the players. We'll have wicked pimento cheese. They may have a bellyache before the game Thursday.
We'll get a couple of them breasts from Evans and Gizzards.
That'll feed 4 people. One breast.
At least 1 breast. Them potatoes. Oh yeah, we'll have a good time.
I'm excited about that game, Dean. I'm really pumped about that game.
Well, you'd asked me last night. You said let's go. We need to go, and I may have to meet you there. But
thank you, Jeff.
We will be coming. I will be coming.
Thursday, yeah.
Well, I'll have practice, and you don't want to take off. And I'll probably have it till after 5. I won't be able to leave Somerville till 5:30 or 5:45, but you may want to leave a little early.
I might go ahead and get over there because it's going to be wild.
Oh, yeah. I figured.
I
got to thinking about that.
Fence.
We probably don't want to pull up at 6:45.
No.
But I may have to.
I'll be there at 5:45.
Yeah, you'll have to be. I may go park over at that restaurant.
Yeah, at the Mexican, yeah.
Walk over.
It's going to be wild.
Nobody report me.
I ought to just say they've moved the game to Friday so nobody will show up. What if we was the only 2 out there? Whoa! What a game!
Yeah.
Rico and Steve's going.
Put it on the.
Well, Matt and Todd Show said it was Friday. Everybody watches Matt and Todd Show.
Yeah. I put stuff like that on Facebook, but nobody takes it serious. So we might not all do that. That would be the time somebody would take it serious.
Yeah, no.
Nobody shows up, no gate. We can't ever come back.
They're going to play Friday. They're going to move it for us. Yeah. I'm just kidding.
We'd never get to come back. You're not allowed down here.
Guys, that was a pretty good little spot we had for high school. I really had a good time with that. You, Dean? I think it was pretty good.
Oh yeah,
had a good time with it.
Yeah.
Let's switch gears and let's do some college stuff, guys. And before we do that, I guess what everybody comes over here for, they don't know who the player of the week's going to be, Dean. And we'll have a shirt for them. I'll come out there and see them tomorrow. And This week, I told you guys, literally, we tore it down on like
Yeah, we had it
sheet of
between a couple
pieces of
guys.
paper and writ it down and just drew it out of a hat. Basically, I mean, this happened. So this week, Dean,
Jacob Corneo,
Cherokee County Warriors, Jacob Cornejo,
133 yards, 2 scores.
congratulations.
And, let me say this. Jacob's over 600 yards this year and 40 tackles. Oh, you answering somebody?
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I said over 600 yards and 40 tackles this year in 5 ball games.
That's something pretty special.
That's some numbers.
He's
He's on pace to have over 1,200 yards and 100 tackles. Or maybe more yards. That's just in the regular season, guys. Who knows what happens in the playoffs?
yeah, tackles too.
Well, 80 tackles. 1,200 yards and 80 tackles. That's what he's on pace. Before the playoffs.
Ain't nothing short about that.
About 7 yards a carry.
He was our player of the week last year too. He won it. I remember. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's a good player.
Yep.
He's got some good career stats.
Yeah, he's a good. We've watched him play Pee Wee on, man. He's going to be special.
Jacob's 5 games through his junior year, and seriously, all joking aside, he's probably got 175 tackles in his career. He's probably got 1,500 yards. You count receiving, he's got over 2,000. I mean, come on, guys. I mean, and this guy's got 5 more games left in his junior year.
And he plays. Yeah, and he plays got a whole year next year.
Yeah.
With an offensive line coming back, all except Connor, the center. That's the only lineman they're losing.
I may be exaggerating on the 175 tackles, but he's got a lot.
And Tay will be back too.
Yeah, he had 75 last year.
Imagine the line back got a new center, probably move a guy inside, and they'll train a new guard. I don't know. I'm just talking. And then you're going to bring in a new quarterback. I don't know who it's going to be. And you got Cornejo and Tay back again. So I think center's going to be pretty good.
Yeah, so, I mean, if you've got 2,000 yards rushing and 175 tackles in your 5 games in through your junior year,
Yeah.
that's a good career.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I'm walking out here with my chest bowed out. If I've rushed for over 2,000 yards and made 175 tackles in my football career.
Yeah. Little fact, Steve Smith was also our kicker at center. Of course, Mark would know that. He played over there then.
Yeah.
Let's
Mark Welsh, good guy.
Sure enough. Mark, we appreciate you coming by and hanging out with us.
Don't forget, Piedmont, Anniston, Saturday.
Saturday, 12 o'clock. Hit that dang subscribe button, people. We appreciate you. Applecast, Spotify people, we're so proud you're listening. Dean, our listening audience has went up. It's been like 20 every day, every week.
Oh, I know.
It went from 10 up to 20. I know that sounds small to some of you big-time podcasters.
No, that's a lot.
But we used to have like 5, 6, 7, 8. Every week it's been over 20. So thank you guys that are listening and not watching. iHeartRadio, Spotify, a lot of Apple Podcast people. Tell a friend. Guys, we're the best darn sports duo going around here. We bring you all your local county news and highlights on our YouTube channel, pictures on Instagram and Facebook. And we love talking about college, and we've been on about 40 minutes, and we're going to do college
Take a quick break.
in 1 minute, and we're going to come right back. But hit that darn subscribe button. We're going to take a break.
Short break.
And we will be, let me get it right here. If I can find where it's at. We'll be right back. Alrighty, good people around the world. Thank you for hanging around for the best dang sports duo going today, the Matt and Todd Show. We are in our college part of the section. We bring you all the SEC coverage you could need for Prime Time Sports Network is who we're in affiliation with. And a little shout out to Jake. Did you get to listen to that podcast?
Mm-hmm.
Had Jake on. He's from Primetime Texas A&M, and
yes, I did.
We let him break down Texas A&M and kind of what he expected.
Right.
And sounded like he was pretty spot on with quarterback play. Thought Johnson would come in and play,
He did.
And he did.
Let him go in.
Yeah. So Jake, if you're listening, hey, shoot, man, I had a good time.
Jake, I thought they got, as bad as this sounds, I kind of thought they got outplayed a little bit.
They did.
Miami just couldn't put an end on. A win's a win.
Yeah.
Somebody said that on one of our something we posted. A win is a win, and that's true.
It is.
You know, especially when you're playing somebody like Miami.
The point that I brought up,
But Johnson did do a good job.
even wins feel like, and that's the way it was. And there's some other teams too. Let's go over last week's before we get
All
any
right.
deep.
How
I
did they do?
had Miami by 3. They were favored by 6. Miami, A&M. We both I liked A&M win. You had Miami.
Did I really have Miami? I should have known better than that. A&M ain't going to drop 2 in a row.
We both liked USC. I had them by 21. You had by 10.
They won bad.
Yeah. Penn State minus. We liked them by 4. I had them by 6. They won by a lot. I'm going to talk about Coach Harsin here in just a minute.
29.
Wake Forest by 10. I liked them by 2 touchdowns. And
That was a shocker.
their final
They won
was
by 1.
it 1?
1.
Yeah.
Liberty went for
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And,
I had them by 2 touchdowns. I just thought that they'd be too much.
yeah, I did too. Maybe Liberty's better.
Congrats
way
off
give credit.
to Liberty, Coach Freeze. That may be your next Nebraska head coach. I'm trying to tell you guys,
They're saying
calling.
it's going to be the guy from Iowa State. I'll tell you some stuff about
Urban
Nebraska
Meyer.
here.
Call. Burn shirt says call Urban. No, he's a cancer.
No, they're not.
Don't.
Gonna get Urban. We'll talk about Nebraska. Here, let's wait. I got some.
Yeah, we got
things.
some coaching stuff we want to get into. Georgia, we like them both to cover. That was a poo-poo game, and Georgia don't have a real game for till week 8.
No, they don't.
Nobody.
I mean, this was their 2 hard games early, and they just beat them 94-3.
And what's their next week game? We just looked at it.
Nah, it's not strong. And then they play Missouri.
Yeah.
And then I think they play somebody.
So like week 7, Georgia has no game till week 7. They played open to Oregon. Then they're gonna play 6 weeks, a month and a half of poo-poo.
Yeah, it might not help them in the long run, but I don't know if the SEC's as strong
They're not.
from the top to the bottom as
They're
it
not.
usually is.
I'm gonna get
there
into
are
that
some
too.
good teams in it.
I got Bama. Todd said don't cover. I got them by 31. They won by 106.
I just didn't. I said don't
I didn't
cover
either.
because it was 50.
I know. I didn't. And I didn't either. I was thinking. I said, well, they will because
50.
I had them.
That's 7 touchdowns.
I had them by 31,
Yeah,
not 50, and they won by 50 something. So
it's hard to pick a game when the spread's 50. I don't agree with 50-point spreads. I think it ought to just be a pick 'em.
Even
Even if you're, let's say, I'm not promoting gambling, but if you're in a gambling site and you want to gamble, don't get a 50-point spread. Nobody knows what to do.
tell us about Coach Iowa State, Nebraska.
Well, the word is that Matt Campbell will be Nebraska's next coach. And now, before I say this, let me say that there's people saying this guy's full of crap, and there are some that's saying, no, he's not. He knows what he's talking about. But there's words coming down the pipe that it's possible that Frost may have developed a substance abuse problem while at Nebraska that affected his coaching. Yes.
He better hope that's what it is. The fans will forgive him for more for that than they will just for being a loser.
They sure will.
And he will
That
be at
was a
Tuscaloosa
Great point.
in a month.
Yes, that guy come out and said Frost was coming to practice late. Said that the assistants had went to Alberts to please help us with whatever's going on with this guy. The line coach invited him. This is just rumors. Invited him to a cookout. He couldn't come because he was drunk. Alcohol in his breath at practice. golf all the time. A lot of drinking. Not nothing on campus now. Let's don't, and I know a lot of people, I saw a lot of posts a couple of weeks ago that, boy, at LSU, you've messed up, which I won't get into that later. I do not think they've messed up by firing Orgeron and getting Kelly. I just don't, I'm sorry. But, supposedly some of the stuff that Orgeron was doing, which we'll never know with women, was going on at the facility. I've heard nothing about Scott Frost doing anything at the facility, but there was definitely a detachment by him lately. I don't know if it was said he wasn't calling recruits.
Dang, Raiders lost.
Dang it.
29-23.
We had $5 on that.
Or Raiders.
What do we have on that?
So basically you're saying that Coach Frost was doing the things of the late 50s and early 60s that Coach Dye and Coach Bryan did.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
It was affecting him negatively. And, we went there and they lost so many games barely. 22 of his 31 losses were by a touchdown. And he just got to it.
Up here.
Yeah. Just got to it. It's what it sounds like. Now, somebody come back and said, this guy don't know what he's talking about. He's full of crap. It was a local radio guy. He didn't mind breaking it. He's like, breaking the news. He's like, look, there's more to it. Because the main question, and nobody could answer, was why this guy failed. He came up there and worked his butt off. He's a good coach. Why did he fail? And this guy come out and said, well, I'll tell you why he failed. He was not doing his job anymore. What do you think? What's your thoughts?
Yeah.
It sounds right, don't it?
Yeah. I'm typing on the...
No, okay, you're fine.
I'm asking them, what do they think about? Yeah, that's good news. I didn't know that.
Huh?
It's good news. I didn't know that. I would say, if that be the case, then yeah, you got to go.
Yes, you'd have to.
Well, you can't keep the guy around.
No, not drinking. And I don't know if that's true, though. What do you think?
It sounds pretty true. And yes, Mark, I want to share that too. Yeah, that sounds, I guess, it kind of fits into what it seems like. You can read that off there, Dean. So Coach Frost moving on to be a grad assistant at Alabama now, I'm sure. He'll get him off his alcohol, and he'll be back coaching somewhere great before soon. Dean hit him with some Luke Welch, the man, the myth, the legend. Him and Chaz. I almost said Chapel. Sorry.
Barry played the number 4 team in the nation,
Wow.
Wisconsin Whitewater. Lost 17-3.
Close.
Whitewater have been averaging 35 points a game.
So Luke and company holds them to 2 touchdowns and a field goal. Wisconsin Whitewater Company over at Barry.
I've heard good things about Wisconsin.
For what we're podcast people that cannot see this, we're getting some info here from Brother Mark Welch, Spring Garden.
Well, that's a pretty good showing
for Luke and Chaz.
That's very good. 17-3. So it looks to me like Barry's coming on.
Mm-hmm.
Playing the number 4 team in the nation.
Yeah, hold them 2 touchdowns.
And hold them to 2 touchdowns and only get beat 2 touchdowns.
Sound like a winner to me.
I think Barry's coming along.
Mochai. This is Japanese candy. Feels like Jello or feels like gummies.
Probably the best tasting thing you'll ever put in your mouth.
It's like a gummy with a little cake in the middle. It's pretty good. Now, thank you for sharing that, Mark. You're the only way we get news about them because nobody does write-ups. There's no wrong news tributes not over there hanging out writing articles on Barry.
I hadn't been getting the wrong paper on Sunday, but they may be doing something.
I've looked online. They don't.
They do not?
No.
Okay.
I tried last year when Luke went up there. I thought, well, I'll try to keep up. Good luck.
Yeah. Luckily, Max Prep saves the day on some of this stuff.
Yeah.
You got a team like Cedartown, you can go look at their stats because of Max Prep.
Yeah, and some don't, like Valley Head. if we just didn't have a coach's number, well, good luck. You got some DeKalb ride-up people over there? Nope.
No. Well, you got to subscribe to the
that's
DeKalb, the Sand Mountain, or the DeKalb.
And the Blaze or the Southern Torch that does a place around there, and she does pictures and have people go.
Yes.
And they do a good job over there. But just like us, we're taking up for each other. You can't be everywhere at once.
Right.
People want us to come here, go there, dude. I'm kind of by myself on Fridays. Mm-hmm. One, because he's at all 87 home games Cedar Bluff's had this year, so he's not. He's every Friday night he's not available. So it's just one of me. However, we do have grown, and where people are going from other places and they're sharing some information, and that's why our side notes page is becoming more successful.
People tickle me on all the Cedar Bluff home games. They think that's by design.
No, it's the other team.
Like Coach Beckett's the master schedule.
But now next year.
Well, sometime it's going to turn around.
It will next year.
And he's going to play 3 home games.
He's going to be 3 away. Next year. Look at all these home games. All of them will be turnaround next year. So next year, Dean will be free. Next season.
Yeah, and I don't want like that. Hey, I ain't complaining. I'm not complaining a bit.
Now, back to college stuff, I would like to get into a little bit about Harrison.
I'm not complaining a bit about home games.
Yeah,
I'm
no.
complaining about away games.
Yeah.
Because I don't get to announce.
Yes, because you enjoyed it. You did a good job at it.
All right, go ahead. I'm sorry. We're on to college football. Harrison.
I don't agree with a lot of media that want him gone.
Yeah, a little early for that, isn't it?
Number one, who expected Auburn to beat Penn State? I did not.
Me and Scott Hayes, you just made a great point, and I'm not getting off the subject at all. You just made a great point. Really, be honest, did anybody expect Auburn to be world beaters this year? No. So why are we mad that they're not? I know 41-12 is not a good showing.
And you could say the development of players has been lackadaisical at Auburn. I'm going through point by point from what I'm hearing on media sources. Mm-hmm. And I want to re-edify that. Let me expand upon that for you Auburn fans. I'm not an Auburn hater. As you can see, we support them right here.
Yeah.
I hate Notre Dame. You want to write down the team old Big Matt hates? I don't like Notre Dame.
Yesterday.
Finally got a win.
Mm-hmm.
Terrible.
I like
terrible.
that for Coach Freeman.
Yeah, he's not a good coach. There's no reason for him to be coaching Notre Dame. They should have went out and made a hire. Coach Harsin, the lack of player development. When has the player development been good at Auburn? Look at me right here. Let me do an old Starkey trick. Point. When has Auburn had good player development? If not,
since Malzahn.
For Cam Newton just being a freak athlete, I'm looking right in the camera, make sure y'all hear me clear. If not for Cam Newton being a superstar freak athlete, Auburn would not have won their first national championship. No, 1957 cannot be claimed because Ohio State actually has the trophy. So don't give me that stuff. That's not college football. If we're going to just be honest, we're going to lay it out here. I'm aggravated. I'm pulling for the guy. He's not doing such a terrible job. What do you want him to do with the players that he has on hand? Well, Big Matt, he should be out in the transfer portal. That's the new way. Yeah, it is. He's been there for one kind of a season. And guess what's happened in that one full kind of season? He's been sabotaged at every corner that Coach Harsin has tried to take to do anything. He got rid of the loser play caller, Bobo is, because he's never been a play caller, and I don't like him, and he's never been good. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't like him. Never good. I didn't think he was a good player at Georgia. I used to holler at him all the time, and I'm not even a Georgia fan, but I'm a realist. Mm-hmm. So the realism is player development's never been good at Auburn. When did Gene Chizik ever develop anybody? When did Gus ever develop anybody?
Tuberville did.
Somewhat. Mm-hmm. And what'd they do to him? Run him off. Mm-hmm. Now you got a guy that's trying to buck the system, and you don't want to play games and play footsie under the table with you bunch of stupid boosters down there from Yellowwood smoking their cigars and running the football team. Let me tell you what's going on, Auburn. You boosters are still running the football team, and they're still calling the shots. And they're trying to sabotage at every point that Harsin tries to do to make anything happen. It's being turned around behind his back, and they're stabbing him in the back every chance they get because they want him gone, because they're not being able the ones that's being able to call the shots. Mm-hmm. Because the cigar smokers down at Yellowwood and Greyhound, they're the ones that want to call the show. So they're going to make sure that Harsin does not win and does not have a successful season. And them losing to Penn State the way they did is not surprising at all because he has nothing in the barn, and they're going to make sure that they sabotage it where there's not going to be anything in the barn for Auburn to be successful. And then they can say, so you should have listened to us, boosters, we was right. Yeah, because you've not given him a good leg up. You hadn't tried to put any money into him to help Auburn have a successful program. And 3, they only play the hardest schedule in the country probably every year. Why, you ask? Because guess who gets to play on regular schedule? The 2 teams that have been going national championships back and forth every year, Alabama and Georgia. Alabama and Georgia. They're playing the best 2 teams in the country every year, so they're not winning those games, period. I said it the first year, if they win 6 games, I think it'll be a good season. It may be 5 now. If I said if they win 7, it'll be a wife-beater type season. They come out there with their wife-beater tank tops on, act like they won a championship if they won 7.
Mm-hmm. They may win 7.
Don't run this guy off. I think he's trying to do the right thing. He's moved some of his assistants around, trying to call the right plays. One of his assistants, he's moved in offense, coached Megatron. Mm-hmm. So these guys know what's going on. Could it be that they're not from here? So let's look into that. At Auburn, the past few coaches, Gus, him being the last coach, but he was a coordinator before. So he was part of that culture. Chisnick, which has been a part of the southern culture around here for football, he knows the area. Been a part of it. Of course, Tubbs is. Tubbs is from out in the Midwest. Come in, fit in, took in the years, beat Alabama a bunch of times. But when is Auburn really, I mean, let's go back to Terry Bowden, which he's doing a good job out there.
Yeah, Louisiana Tech.
Doing a good job. Mm-hmm. So, what are they supposed to do?
Right. Well, they don't.
What do you do?
They've got some good players, but they don't have the whole. They don't have Alabama.
They don't have the stable. Mm-hmm. Now,
Penn State's got that quarterback back again.
And I don't think he's that good.
Clifford?
No. They never. Singleton, the freshman tailback, went nuts.
Look at it, yards.
240 yards, I think he had on the ground. So that's my gripe about Auburn and Harsin. You're never going to be able to win if you can't get a guy in there. He's trying to buck these boosters guys. Leave him alone. Stop trying to make everything your way and the fans. Well, they just kept him because that's what the fans want.
Well,
that's not true.
Right.
The AD still has a say-so. Yes, maybe the fans were making some chatter. It don't matter. Leave the guy in there. Let him try to coach his way. Give him a year and support him. So you're just giving a guy – you just took Harsin, tied up a bunch of sticks, threw them out there on him on the ground, and him standing out there in his pajamas and saying, build a tent. Right. Well, I don't have any tent material. Well, you got sticks. Go find some leaves, man. What's wrong with you? That's what they're doing.
Yeah.
Does people forget? It's Nick Saban's fault because he's been so darn successful. Let's rewind that track of that beautiful bean footage, Dean, for just a little bit.
I talked to an Auburn fan.
What did Saban do his first years?
7-6.
Bro, it takes
lost to
time.
Louisiana Tech.
Come on, man. Get off the guy. Let him coach. Give him 5 years. And that's my thing. Give him 5 years.
Like Nebraska gave Frost. This was his 5th. No, this was his 4th year.
Done. He's drunk. He comes to practice with whiskey on his breath. That means he just took a drink out in the car.
We think he did.
Allegedly. See you, buddy. Gone.
Right. Now, but they still gave him 4 years. You got to give a guy. I talked to an Auburn fan today that said he thought that. What'd they say?
Cheese Chex Mix.
That he thought that if they had a bad showing against LSU in a couple of weeks, or maybe Missouri, he's gone. Like if Missouri was to upset them or LSU was to beat them down, like 30-7, gone. I don't know. I mean, they don't have a quarter. Or they've got a quarterback battle. Both of them about the same. Ashford and Finley. It looks like Ashford may end up being their quarterback.
He can't throw it.
But
Auburn fans, please come on. Y'all are welcome to.
Yeah, they're struggling down there. Penn State 41-12.
We got Coach Nance from Valley Head. Just texting in. He shared a video. I wish I could. If you'd have sent that to me earlier, man, I could have. I'd love to put it up on there. It was a kick return. 92-yard kickoff return by Hunter on a field that put Valley Head in the lead.
Wow. That's the other running back.
Yes. Yeah, they got two. So, Coach Harson, Coach Frost. Yeah, I guess just going down to Bama.
Well, I'll tell you one. What do you think about? I've got a diatribe I'm fixing to go on too.
Kick it in.
All right. Well, let's move on to Georgia. Boy, they just didn't have much trouble.
Ain't much to talk about.
45-0. But here's my diatribe. I don't want to hear any more anti-Bennett talk.
Who?
Anti-Stetson talk.
Who said that? I ain't.
I looked on Facebook today and somebody said they thought he would be benched by the end of the year. I mean, are you joking?
Let me cut this off. Some Alabama fan from Georgia, don't pay him no attention
because he don't lose his position.
He don't know anything about football.
He's not going to lose his position.
No.
Yeah, he may win the Heisman. He's on fire. I don't want to hear no more anti-Stetson talk for anybody.
I stopped the Oregon game after seeing them go out there, and Kirby said, "Hey, you know what? We're just going to start running the ball tonight. We're just going to throw it all night."
Yeah, all night.
So they threw it all night. And Stetson
got 14 incompletions in 3 ball games.
He was money, so I'm done. I ain't talking about him.
There's no more. No, not on this show. There'll be no more anti-Stetson talk. There was a time for it. It was funny at a time, but it's gone. It's over.
I was really aggravated.
Quit it.
I got in a Twitter debate with a guy over the summer about that. He said,
"Well,
Bennett,
now he said I understand.
He said he was a gun.
Wasn't saying he was bad.
No, I think he's great. He won a national championship. This team reminds me of the 10 Bama team, 09, 10, or 12s. AJ's
right.
great.
He said he wasn't a gunslinger, which he may have become now.
Great defense and have a good quarterback. Mm-hmm. It's not complicated. What Kirby's doing, it's not. It's Bama 2.0.
He may be a gunslinger now, but at the time when you had that argument, he was not.
No. Yeah, and still to be a gunslinger, we're talking about throwing for 400 yards a game.
Let's see what his stats are.
Now, while you're looking at that, here's another topic that I had brought up. Some people are partying like it's 1999, Dean. Song well known by Prince, Mark and company, and Jeff that are still hanging around listening. We appreciate you guys tuning into the Matt and Todd experience. We love talking college football, and this song you guys know very well. What I am getting to is a team that we all may know. They finished the year 7-1 in the conference, 10-3 overall. This team lost a bowl game to the greatest quarterback to ever play football. This team lost to that guy. I think I know. You know who I'm talking about.
I really don't.
The greatest quarterback to ever play football beat this team in 1999.
Drew Brees.
The greatest quarterback to ever play the game of football. There's only one. Everybody talks about it.
Give me one more hint.
The greatest quarterback to ever play, and it's not Joe Montana. This was in 99.
In 99. Man, I'm at a loss.
Tom Brady.
Oh, gosh. I was thinking college. Yes.
Tom Brady
beats
a 7-1 seasonal team. There was 10-2, and they go to the Orange Bowl.
Yes.
99.
Great game.
99 Alabama team. This team, I'm just looking through old records and how they're ranked and how the wins and losses are going and what they what they feel like. It feels like, okay, let's just imagine this. Let me tell you what got me thinking about it.
You think this Alabama team reminds you of the 1999 Alabama?
Yeah, and I don't mean exactly like player. Like they did not have a Bryce Young. They had Andrew Zal. Was Zal the quarterback that year? I think Zal was the quarterback that year. I know Sean Alexander was captain of the team. He was a great tailback. So they they don't have a Sean Alexander. That's for daggum sure.
No.
Gibbs or none of them guys all rolled
they're
up.
Good, but they're not.
None of them. Nobody is. The Mark Ingrams and Derrick Henrys are in that class with Sean Alexander. For me, It's by how they play. This is what I was thinking, and guys, y'all can agree or disagree. That's fine. What if Bryce Young goes out, sprains his knee?
Mm-hmm.
That's going to probably bring in the Simpson guy, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I've never really heard much about their backup.
So,
Alabama lost 2 games that year by 1 point.
Yeah, to Tennessee and Louisiana.
Louisiana Tech.
Yeah.
And lost to Tennessee.
In overtime. Was one of them overtime? Seemed like one of them was overtime. Maybe not.
They don't say anything about overtime.
I think the Tennessee game may have been over. Anyway, how this team plays, I was thinking, what if Bryce Young goes out, Dean? So I'm thinking Simpson. Then that team without Bryce reminds me of that team. Besides not having a Sean Alexander tailback, but I think the 2 running backs could make up to be 1. The offensive line is pretty good. Mm-hmm. You have an All-American up there, maybe your left tackle guy you bring in from Vanderbilt, I guess. But Neal, the guy that's been at center, and they moved him guard, are just not really good up front. The defense is good, and they had been good. 5 years before that, 6 years before.
Right, 6.
And that had took a turn. And Florida, the Gators were kind of running the show during that time. Chris Leak, those teams, 95-ish, 6 seasons. And I feel like Georgia is really taking over. We're fixing to do that, Logan. We are. Logan wants to know if we think Georgia's the best team in the country again. We're fixing to do our top 10. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so this Alabama team without Bryce, I don't know. There's something about that team, Dean, that reminds me of the '99.
Right. I don't know what they rushed for a lot of yards yesterday, but they were playing Louisiana Tech.
Yeah, sure. I just
but
record-wise, I could see them.
Young's definitely there.
I could see them be 7-1. Could you see them being 7-1?
Definitely.
And they lost to Tennessee. I could see us losing to Tennessee.
Tennessee, Arkansas, heck, LSU, Ole Miss.
Speaking of Arkansas, holy crap, guys! We got what the heck's going on out there?
Wow, they had 600 yards, but tell them that what happened.
Where is it at?
They nearly got beat.
Well, I don't know where. Anyway, they played a sloppy game, and Jefferson. Where did I write that down at? I thought I wrote down.
Did you see how many yards he threw for?
I guess I did. Or it's on that other paper I threw away. Yeah, I'm not real satisfied with Arkansas. I'm a little worried.
Yeah.
Because, 38-27 is, they won. And then like we've talked about earlier, a win's a win. But when you just want to get down to brass tacks, 19 for 31, 385, average 12 yards a throw.
Wow, that's great stats.
2 touchdowns, 1 pick. But, Dean, here's the thing. What's his QBR? 33.
Really?
33.
Why so low?
19 for 31. And he rushed for 40 yards. But Rocket Sanders.
167 yards.
7 yards average.
Had a good game.
And
that game was 27-17 in the fourth quarter, man.
Yeah, and Landers goes nuts, has like 120 yards receiving.
Hazelwood had 86.
Yeah.
Wow.
Landers and Hazelwood led the team. Sanders also received for 75 yards.
Oh, my gosh. So he had 240 yards. Boy, he's got to be the newcomer of the year in the SEC. Got to be. Where's he from?
Who?
Rocket.
I think I did a thing on him last week.
He's good at Rocket. Ishmael.
His name is Rakeem, and he is from Florida. Yeah, Rockledge.
Okay.
Played high school football down there.
Well, that makes
66
sense.
attempts, 440 yards, 3 touchdowns, 6.6 yards average.
How many catches?
And career, don't say.
Rocket Sanders. Wow.
Receiving
Newcomer
yards,
of the year,
rushing
sure.
attempts, rushing touchdowns. Yeah. And in the nation, newcomer of the year, freshman on the scene. And we've already – did you do the Auburn game stuff already? We did.
Yeah,
We did.
I did.
Yeah, Singleton, freshman tailback,
he's
Penn
great.
State, fabulous.
Yes.
What the hell the heck's this guy from, Mars? Holy crap. Harson couldn't catch him. They couldn't put him in a double Piggly Wiggly.
They had 470.
When David Young bags your groceries, and David used to say double the paper bag, nothing's falling out of that.
Right.
Those double bags from Piggly Wiggly sacked by David.
Those
Could not contain Singleton.
You're talking about the
Yes, the old school.
old style grocery. I want to see them come back. We're going above the store and bring them back.
I'm with you.
When anybody come to it, doesn't know. Everybody
Yeah,
likes these
absolutely.
papers.
Everybody loves Matt and Todd Shaw. Yeah, we went through Auburn, Penn State. 291 yards passing. Tank had 40 yards rushing.
Yeah, he had a tough day.
Clifford 178 and Singleton 124. But here's the problem with that.
It's at 124.
And here's another point that I have heard through
This
some.
is at Auburn, too.
Yes, some media sources. That's the one problem. Auburn usually don't lose at home. They have some miracle fluke balls falling from the sky, hitting off people's helmets, kicking them up like soccer balls, and falling like gumdrops as they step with a hobnail boot. That's Georgia, by the way. Why don't Tank run the ball more? How many touches did he have? 9?
None.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess because they were down.
That's the knock on you, Coach Harsin. But, like you just said, and what Dean means by he just said a quick comment there because they were down. Well, let me tell you guys something
I'm assuming.
that don't know a lot about football. That's what Uncle Matt and Uncle Todd's here for. When you're down in the game pretty quick, well, you usually start throwing the ball.
You got to throw it. That's
Because
why
you're
they
trying
do
to
38 times.
make up chunk plays because they got down so quick. So because your defense is not doing their job, not stopping any plays,
Right.
and couldn't stop a double wet bag, it causes a problem.
Well, 477 yards. I mean, they had 415 yards.
Right.
That's good. I mean, that's not bad. It don't sound like the offense was the problem.
Yeah, 415 total, 477 for Penn State.
Wow.
Let's look at the time here. 29 and 30 minutes, very comparable. Penn State had 9 penalties. Auburn had 7. I'm trying to dial in the details. We're going to find out why Auburn lost this game. Oh, there it is. Interceptions thrown, 2. Rushing, 119. Rushing attempts, 36 rushing attempts.
So Auburn averaged 3 yards a rushing attempt.
3.3, Dean. That's why.
That's where they lost.
Okay, so how does Uncle Matt and Uncle Todd fix up Auburn? Well, it sounds like you can't run the ball because to be able to throw the ball, you got to be able to run it first, right? You're not vice versa. You don't throw the ball to set up you don't run the ball to set up, right?
Right.
You want to run some to suck the defense up so
Yes,
you can
then you can start
go over
tossing.
the top.
You got to make it for
You don't start going, let's start out the game and start throwing the ball so then we can
Then
run
we
it.
can run. Yeah.
Let's run the ball, pound it, and get in there and make them try to respect the game and get the safeties up a little bit, get them in maybe a cover 2 and get out of that cover 3 or something, and make them try to play man on the corners so that you got 9 guys or 8 guys in the box.
Right. 8 in the box. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess you can have.
You could walk a guy. You could walk a guy down if you're really sold out on the run.
Yeah, if you're completely sure they're not throwing it.
Do that, but Coach Harsin, you got to get your stuff together. So, I mean, they didn't have a good game.
No, they did not.
Mississippi State, Dean, what do you like about them?
Wow. Hey, I thought they looked great. 16-10. And then I'm going to look at the stats on this, too.
Yeah.
And then LSU just went off. Next thing I know, it's 17-16. I'm not worried. I was kind of pulling for Mississippi State in this ball game. And
They are not as sharp.
next thing I know, it's over. It's 31-16.
Listening from Kentucky, keep up the good work, fellas.
Who's that?
Say
CJ?
yo.
That's Charles Jeff.
Gotcha.
Rogers, 214 yards. LSU, Jaden Daniels, 210. Passing and rush for 93. LSU outgained them 416 to 289. Now,
10 years, $100 million.
75 yards run.
$100 million, 10 years. As Coach Kelly worth it. 31-16 was the final.
That's a big win.
206 on the ground and 210 in the air. Is that right?
Yeah.
That sounds pretty good balanced. Now, here's what we take away. Let me ask you this question.
2-6 on the ground. Wow.
Does this mean that Mississippi State is just – they were 2-0. Now they're going to be 2-1. LSU will now be 2-1 with them as well. Does this mean Mississippi State and Rogers were not quite as good as we thought to us? Because I pumped him up last week. Remember, I was kind of riding high on the Rogers train, remember?
I just think that offense they run's hit or miss.
Oh, God. What am I doing? Sorry, guys. Oh, God. Oh,
I didn't know what happened there.
Lord almighty. Who's
Put
that?
Rambo on. First left.
That nincompoop.
There's another game.
You know the guy that they do the puppet with? Mm-hmm. The old man, Jeff Dunham.
Jeff Dunham, yeah.
That puppet he does, the old man, that's who he looks like. That's who that was. Sorry about that.
What were we just talking about? Oh, Mississippi State. I think their offense is just hit or miss. They may come out against Alabama. Rogers may go wild, throw for 500, and they win. But it's hit or miss. It was hit, miss yesterday. They only rushed for 75 yards, Matt. And he only threw for 214.
But that's
you have to throw with what he does. You have to throw for 300 or 400 yards.
That's normal with him.
Yeah.
And another game we'll mention: Kentucky, your Bluegrass State, 31-0. Levis 377, throw 2 touchdowns. Buddy threw 2 picks.
Yeah, but he's not
careful
gonna
with
lose
that.
His job either.
No, you got to be careful with that. Which you boys over at Florida.
Whew, gosh.
AR-15.
I got to look at the stats on that, too.
Richardson, 112, 24 rushing. The team had 217 rushing, 112 yards.
Passing.
Yeah.
That's not good.
No touchdowns, 2 picks against Southern Florida that they won, not 31-3 or 31-6.
They had to hold on for it.
South Florida scores 4 touchdowns. Guys, how in the world? Please, somebody help me.
I don't understand. I don't know. Which it shows how they beat Utah, and they did beat Utah.
Well,
and I will say this about Florida. I think it's going to take time. It's not going to be an overnight fix.
Maybe
it seemed like it was after they beat Utah, and it's not then.
Maybe the Pac-12 just.
Maybe the Pac. I don't know.
Well, after the way Oregon played.
Yeah.
Bo Nix, 2 in the air, 3 on the ground. Set a new record. Oregon 222.
Yeah. Utah's been rolling ever since.
And the SEC is not really good, but I guess that means the Pac-12 is just really, really not real good.
Mississippi State beat Arizona by 3 touchdowns.
So
3 touchdowns.
Now, why don't we know what we're talking about? I don't know. We just do things like that. It's just by reason of assumption.
Well, yeah, you got to assume that. Florida's not playing well, but they beat Utah. Utah's probably the best team in the Pac-12 besides USC, wouldn't you think?
Yes.
So we're just putting 2 and 2 together. There's not a lot of studying. Me and Matt don't sit up at night and study this stuff.
You can see it right here. Let's just go into Florida right here. South Florida had the ball, Dean, for 36 minutes.
So Florida didn't have much time of possession.
Yeah. And South Florida had 23 first downs. Florida had 17.
It's not a good. And Florida's going into a big contest this week. Big contest.
They were 3 for 8 on third down efficiency. They had 329 total yards. But in passing, they both had 116 to 112 for Florida. Florida had 6 yards per pass. Both teams throw 2 picks.
Mm-hmm.
Rushing attempts. South Florida 46, Florida 30.
How many yards did South Florida rush for?
286 to Florida's 217. So that tells me
Florida's struggles are on
up
defense.
front.
Yeah.
Same thing what we just talked about with Auburn.
Right. Florida struggles are defensively too. They're giving up over 400 a game.
Coach Napier, he's dabbled in the transfer portal and he's added some defensive backs. And I don't think they added a lot of defensive linemen. Auburn has added none, and they're like ranked in the SEC recruiting like next to last to Vanderbilt. So
who's better?
Coach Napier, Coach Harsin, we need to get your heads in there and start recruiting. South Florida even had a fumble loss. So they kept the ball a whole lot more, and you can just go by things that
That's
you can
just
see.
because they were able to gain yards rushing.
Yeah, Bohannon he only had 116 yards passing, but Battle and Bohannon rushed for over 100 yards.
286 yards.
And that was from a tailback and the quarterback.
Wow. You know, they give up, I'd say they're giving up 400 a game. Not good.
Gators, you got to straighten it up. Now, we'll mention that Syracuse did beat Purdue 32-29, which was no, wasn't playing basketball.
Right.
This is football.
Saying Syracuse is for real.
They're playing football. Now, along with that, we did say that not just a basketball school. Let's go along with this thing. How about, here's a trivia question for you. Name 5 teams, basketball schools, that are 3-0 right now. Duke, Syracuse, Kentucky, UCLA, Indiana.
Duke.
Yeah.
Wow. What about that Texas A&M game? Got outgained by 130 yards and won. Miami just couldn't put it in the end zone. But we do like Max Johnson, right?
They give the game away. Yes, Johnson is definitely the answer. They give the game away. There was no reason at all
that they should have won that ball.
No, and we had a local game like that we talked about a couple of weeks ago that there was no reason. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's like you just kind of wrap it up and just you give them the game. And Miami could not take advantage of it. Van Dyke, his QBR is 57.
How many times were they in the red zone?
20 either overthrown or dropped back. They had their receivers look like Alabama's receivers. Mm-hmm. We ain't even got to the Alabama game yet. I'm getting riled up. I'm gonna have to talk. I'm gonna have to email Saban. We can fix to get into the Alabama game. The Hurricanes rushing. Of course, Parrish, he had almost 100, and Knight did too. 217 on passing. He sprayed the ball all over the field. And, of course, Johnson, he's going to be your guy. 46 QBR. Guys, he threw for 140 yards. Only 1 touchdown. A-Chain still didn't go over 100 yards.
No, he's having a tough year.
And he received for 42 yards. Dude. He
had a lot of kick return yards. I did read that.
So he went over 100 for total offense for the day. But they're having to throw the ball to him. Eric Chinander removed as Nebraska who?
Defensive coordinator. So Nebraska has fired their new defensive coordinator.
They're cleaning house.
Interim head coach Mickey Joseph announced Sunday he's relieving defensive coordinator from his position.
Breaking news.
Hey, we're the first ones to get it. Mickey Joseph text us personally.
Yeah, let me play the music for their defense coordinator. What's his name?
Chinander.
Turn that up.
No, it's sad. They're getting rid of everybody.
Let's play it one more time. Okay, anyway. Defense coordinator at Nebraska, Chanders, is gone. Now, pushing right along through the show here. We've been on for just about hour and a half. We're working right along. We're going to get down into some Alabama, and we've done Auburn and Georgia. They're walking. Yeah. They don't play nobody.
Ole Miss hammered Georgia Tech 42-0. That was kind of a shock.
Georgia don't play nobody till the SEC championship game.
Right.
Dean's guy, Penix Jr., graduating class from Indiana. Mm-hmm. Dean was really big on him. We paid attention to him. We enjoyed watching him play last year. He had a good season in Indiana. We wondered what would happen to him, and you had him like in a preseason watch
last year because they thought they would be real good.
Well, he's a Husky now at Washington. They beat Michigan State, which is not a terrible team, 39-28. He throws for 400 yards.
He's already thrown for 1,100 in 3 games. 4
touchdowns. Their wide receiver Polk, 153. He was the one going 1, 2, 3. Freshman.
Wow.
He's a freshman. He's from Texas. And McMillan had almost 100 yards. Michigan State, Thrawn had 323, 3 touchdowns and a pick, 42 rushing for the team. Coleman had 116 with 2 touchdowns. He's from Louisiana. Keon Coleman. Keep an eye out for him, Michigan State. Keon Coleman, wide receiver, good football player. So Penix, keep an eye out for him. He's on Dean's hot list, watching for them.
Michael Penix.
Nebraska takes one to the head, 49-14. The Sooners, Boomers, they boom right on in and take care of business.
They're just having a lot of problems there.
Now,
I'm talking about Nebraska.
Last but not least, Dean's going to get into the Alabama game. We've covered a lot of games that we all kind of watched, and some we didn't get to watch all of them. But we got a few games for next week, and we'll get into that.
All right.
And again, congratulations to Jacob Cornejo, our big diamond player of the week. Dean, tell us about the first play from the line of scrimmage. What happened in this game you're going to be talking about?
He said it was an illegal procedure, right? 5-yard loss.
Guys, what the heck's going on? They can't even get lined up. What?
I think it's very complicated.
It's not complicated. These guys have been playing football since forever.
Well,
sound like a bunch of crap to me.
But after that,
very disappointed. I know. I'm gonna let you finish. I'm getting fired up.
Fine.
Because they aggravate me, bro.
Well, let me get with the total yards right quick. Alabama did win 63-7. Young, 3 touchdowns passing, 236, had an 81.7 QBR. Did throw 2 picks though.
There you go.
Alabama rushed for 273 yards. Roydell Williams 58, McClellan 47, who I think is their best back. Gibbs led them in receiving, 65 yards. Holden, who I think is Alabama's best receiver, 3 catches, 60. Latu, 3 for 51. Defensively, I'll give you one guess who the leading tackler was for Alabama.
Maybe that 31 guy?
No.
It wasn't Toa because he
was second.
Yeah, he needs to retire from football or find something. Go pick up garbage around the stadium.
He finished with 8 tackles, 2 behind the line, man.
I would hope so. They played Piggy Wiggly Meat Department. No offense, Josh.
And DeMarco Helms, again, 2 weeks in a row, 9 tackles. He's made 19 tackles in 2 weeks. Moody had 6, and Kool-Aid had a ton of 158 yards on punt return.
He was trying to break one. He just about did, too. Twice.
So, Alabama had no problems. 63-7.
They cover, which is what you would expect for them to.
Do you still see some issues
cover.
with them?
Do I see some issues?
Yes.
Most definitely.
Okay.
My producer just said we got to wrap it up. But where do you want to start? First play a game. Look, guys, here's the problem. And I know you're saying you're being ridiculous, Big Matt. Alabama won by 103 points. If you're going to be considered as the relevant number 1 or 2 team in the nation, that's what you want to be, because you don't look like it. You don't look like it at all. The linemen couldn't hold up a steaming hot bowl of cow dung because that's about as good as they've played.
Mm-hmm.
They're supposed to. Well, they played better this week, man. They're supposed to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You're playing Louisiana Monroe.
Right.
Without Bryce, there is no Alabama.
No,
let's just be honest.
He's their star.
I didn't look it up because you was going to cover it. I was just kind of a little aggravated. How many passings did he have in attempt? Was he 24 for 36? Does that sound close?
No, he was 13 for 18.
13 for who was 24 for 36? Maybe that was last week.
That was last week.
13 for 18.
That was against Texas.
And they're trying to – they come out and started to run the ball, and I'm like, well, good.
They did run the ball yesterday.
We're going to try to set up the run so we can try to throw it because these little poo-poo games like that they've played, not like the ones Georgia's got or the next 3 weeks they have. I don't know what their schedule. I don't know how they got that schedule. You're defending national champ. You got to play poo-poo teams, but not after week after
Apparently,
week
Georgia's
after week after week after week. It's just. And I'm not knocking Georgia. I'm just saying it's depressing because I ain't got to watch Georgia yet. They don't play nobody. It's not fun to go watch 50-0 against South Houston Tech College. Some guys out there that learn how to do basket weaving. That's what their mid-major is. The mid-majors from the lower class of Missouri. So, anyway, back on.
Their last. They've got Florida, Tennessee.
When is that? 3rd week in October?
Yes. No, they don't know. They don't really have a tough game. They got Auburn, which is a good matchup usually. But
when is that game?
it's October the 8th. They really don't start their tough part of the schedule. They got 4 straight starting October 29th. They've got Florida at home, Tennessee at home,
What?
Mississippi State on the road, and Kentucky on the road. So they do have a slate of 4 tough games.
Win.
But that's their 4 toughest. And
Okay.
They play Georgia
So
Tech.
they beat all those teams. They're going to be favored by 20. Now,
Florida, Tennessee,
gripe,
Mississippi State.
back on the gripe with Alabama. Yeah, I know they won by a lot of points, but just try to make a long, sad story short. Yes, they got the win. However, it just don't feel like a win. That's what I meant by these teams are winning, but it don't really feel because you're supposed to be just completely smothering these teams, and it just don't seem.
Right.
It don't seem like that's how it's going.
Mm-hmm.
If Bryce takes a spill, it's done. It's done.
Right.
What are they gonna do? Nothing.
Yeah, absolutely right.
How is Alabama going to sustain? What passion would fans have to come to the stadium to watch an Alabama game if Bryce Young's not playing?
They would.
Probably not. However, these close games may have played right into the hand of what Saban wants because he's been griping about fans not coming to the games. I think fans are coming to the game now, right?
They are.
Because why? Well, any given Friday, we may get beat.
You know, believe it or not, people don't like to watch the blowouts.
Barry plays Birmingham Southern. That will be a good game, Mark. Thank you for
be.
sharing that. Sylvia,
Would you agree with that?
yes, Aaron. It must be a Georgia fan beating all these teams like that. It does, and it's not a knock against Georgia. We got Georgia right here too. I'm fans of them. I'm glad that Kirby got him one. I would like to watch them play.
Yeah.
This Alabama game, you know how much I watched of it?
We got 6 weeks before we probably watch a Georgia game.
I watched the first quarter Alabama, and I wanted to see like A&M or somebody that was playing later,
See, they don't.
or
They got Arkansas in
maybe
2
the
weeks.
Oregon game or something. Maybe somebody else was playing. I'm flipping the channel. You're an Alabama fan. No, I'm a connoisseur of football because we do a football show, and I need to be watching 2 or 3 games at one time. And Alabama playing Louisiana Monroe, I just like to see how they come out and how they get started if they sputter. And guess what they did? They got that old push mower that you have out in your mama's shed, the one that smokes a lot. You have to put your hand over the carburetor to choke it. Well, Alabama did that, and they pulled it, and it didn't crank the first time. First play of the game,
Right.
They choke.
Yeah.
Do you see where I'm coming from? You're Alabama. Why are you? They've got to fix these things. What I'm saying is, when Bama gets into it next week, where are they going to next week?
Got Arkansas next. No. They got Vanderbilt this coming week, and then Arkansas.
They better get the horses tuned up for all these poo-poo games they've been playing, except for Texas. Texas they're
pretty good.
a little bigger deal. Sark did a good job, and they hang on to win out there in their game. Showed good resilience to come from a high, and Sark got them back down there to play.
Yeah, they won. Beat Texas 10. San Antonio, who is actually a good football
They're not
team.
bad. So, So that's my gripe. Alabama, you better get it together because when you go to play in these other teams, and it's like they're going to beat Georgia, I assume.
And their schedules just, let me check Alabama's, if they have a plethora of hard games right in a row. They don't play the toughest schedule early either.
I'll do my 1 through 10. I'll let you get started on that one here when you get done. I'm going to just put in MATT dash, and then I'm going to make a bunch of spaces and a dash, and I'm going to put my number 1.
Okay.
1. We ain't going to look at each other. This is how we.
Yeah, Alabama's
do
got it pretty
everybody.
rough. They've got Arkansas, A&M, Tennessee, Mississippi State, LSU, Ole Miss. So they have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 game slate. It's pretty tough.
Now, just put 1, Georgia, and then 2 dot, type the name, 3 dot, type the name. Do it all in one box there.
Okay.
Oh.
I already screwed up. All right.
Just put like 4 dot and then type the name, and
Yeah.
that way we'll keep it all together. 5 dot.
Where's the dang dot? Oh, there it is. Oh, it ain't. Oh, there it is.
Let's see.
All right.
No, we ain't seen each other, so we just gonna put it out here. 7 dot.
Let me capitalize.
8 dot.
It's going to take me a minute.
9
I'm
dot.
not real computer savvy.
And 10 dot. All right. We're going to do our
Base.
top 10. We're going to put them out there while Dean's whacking his up there. We'll go through mine.
Having some trouble.
I'll talk mine out here. I like Georgia at 1. They're the most dominant team. They're definitely showing that their heads above everybody. They're whack-a-moling the teams you're supposed to whack-a-mole.
Yeah, they are.
C.J. Stroud, Ohio State and Bunch, they have played Luther Vandross Music Company. They have played South Ohio State Meat Market. And they've also played the Big Size Chicago Joey Sub and Sweepstakes Market.
Luther Vandross. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's one of his new teams. Ohio State's played nobody, as well as Georgia. Bama's played one continuous game that they got checked almost. They win by 1. I got them at 3. I like the Sooners. Boomer Sooner be at 4. I don't know who else really could put in there. Guys, USC's moving higher up on my list. Caleb Williams went out there and had a good game the other day, threw some touchdowns.
Yeah, he's good.
Running touchdowns all over the place. Michigan. Coach Harbaugh and company, they're right outside the top 5 for me. Quarterback play has finally settled down, looking kind of okay, and still we're waiting on them to play marketable games. They're okay, you know.
Yeah, I don't think they haven't played anybody yet either, but apparently nobody has.
Right, that's what we're getting into.
Yeah.
Dabo Sweeney, the traveling Clemson Sweeneys, I like them at number 7. Stoops, the not basketball school of Kentucky, at number 8. Like how they're playing Levis, you got to clean that up. Had 2 picks this weekend. Oklahoma State, I just got them in by default only because my Hogs have dropped them down to number 10. Looked a little shaky this weekend. They may be looking ahead a little. They may be getting a little nervous.
Can y'all tell I'm not real computer savvy?
They may be getting a little bit.
Space 10.
They may be getting a little nervous.
Okay, and I'm fixing to go over mine.
Kentucky. Next week, Kentucky will be out playing Illinois, and then they will have Ole Miss.
It'll be a tough game. Illinois is supposed to be a lot better this year. Matt, I've got Georgia and Ohio State. Bama.
It'll be on ESPN too, by the way.
Georgia, Ohio State, Bama, top 3. Michigan, 4. Okie 5. USC 6. I moved them up ahead of Okie State. I got Okie State 7. Oklahoma State. Clemson is 8. UK is 9. And I dropped Arkansas to 10 because of their struggle.
Yeah, that's where I got Arkansas. I don't. I mean, nothing against them, but, you know, what are we supposed to do with them? They play 38-27 Missouri State, and, you know.
That's tough.
They scored 21 unanswered. Well, they had a field goal, Missouri. They had to score 21, guys, in the daggum fourth quarter. I mean, he threw for 385 in total, but, you know, if you don't go back, look at how many of those yards they had to throw and how much they had to work in the fourth quarter to come back and try to win this stupid game.
Right, against Missouri. It's done 27-17, man.
That's terrible.
Again, it was 17-0. I don't understand. I'd like to watch that game. But our top 10 is pretty much the same. We got a few spots. Matt's not real high on Michigan.
Right now, Arkansas is showing them.
I don't know where else to put Michigan.
What?
What's the official top 10?
That's old.
How close are we to the official top 10?
Oh, I don't know. I was looking at the conference lineups.
Oh, okay.
Now, as far as next week, Arkansas's. So I was trying to find here on their next week game, week 4. We just looked at it. Okay, next week, so we'll just run through this. Texas, Miami, MTSU. Tulsa plays Ole Miss garbage. Arkansas plays Texas A&M. That's the game we're going to be looking for. So let's go through this, and we will be off. We are going to be watching, if you guys would like to tune in, Clemson plays Wake Forest. Clemson is favored by a touchdown.
I'm going to give them that. I think that's all they're going to win by. What about you?
I agree. I think Hartman gives them some trouble, but not a lot.
I don't think they lose the ball.
The Ducks at Washington State.
Ooh, I'm going to go with the Ducks. What's the spread in that?
Ducks by 6.
Oh, we don't have to do the spread. I think the Ducks beat Washington State by a touchdown.
Yeah. USC at Oregon State.
Ooh, at Oregon State. I'm going to give USC a 10-point win there.
Okay.
34-24 or something like that.
USC
better.
By 10. Stanford at Washington. Penix.
Oh.
Washington is favored by 12.
I think they win by a touchdown.
Okay. Washington by 7.
I'm not doing too good on picks this year. So.
Florida at Tennessee. This is our game of the day. If anybody's ready to tune in, y'all tune into that game. Florida at Tennessee.
You don't even want to hear what I think. I think Tennessee wins that by 17.
Look what I wrote.
17?
I wrote 16.
16.
That's weird.
I'm sorry. I just Tennessee's. I think have arrived. I think Florida's struggling, which I don't have a problem with that. Napier just got there.
We're both we're both pretty much agree. You didn't pick no weird upset this week, so
I cannot.
We'll go back.
Now, if Florida had played better the last 2 games, I might have picked an upset, but that's in Rocky Top. I don't think so.
And our top 10 list is on for September. Today's the 18th, so this was my top 10, and we typed it on there, so we'll have it for official records.
I hate to put Bama 3, but I guess you've got to with the way Georgia and Ohio State.
Mark seems like Tennessee. Yeah, I like Tennessee too, Mark. I think they're.
What'd he say?
He likes Tennessee.
Yeah. I mean, you'd have to go, which anything can happen in that game, but I think right now you've got to kind of lean towards Tennessee, and it may not be 17, but. I think 31-14.
Hit that subscribe button, people. We've been on for a while. I knew we was gonna have a long show.
Yeah,
because
all right.
the season for high school regions are being talked about. So I wanted to break down this week's coming games. Talk a little bit more about who they were playing. That's why we went a little longer. We went about 45 minutes really on high school, but we had a good full hour on college.
Yeah.
It's been a wild week, and we'll be back next week, and then the week after, October the 1st, that Saturday, we will be at the Fall Festival doing I don't know if I'm going to have I'm going to try to do where we may be live on camera, but it may just be podcast. I may just set up the phone, and we'll just talk and record it, and I'll publish it later that day.
Yeah.
But I'd kind of like to be on camera. We could show some of the people coming by and stuff and talk with fans. And autographs will be free.
I thought we was charging for them now. Pictures. We need autographed pictures.
Barry and BSC. Yep, Saturday.
Barry and Birmingham Southern.
Yep.
Jack State win again? I really honestly don't know. That sounds bad, but I don't.
I looked at that yesterday. I just looked at it. No.
They did not.
54-17 Tulsa.
Oh, well, Tulsa is bigger than them. Tulsa's a FCS, which I guess Jack State is too, but Tulsa's bigger than them. Tulsa's supposed to beat them. I don't know if they're supposed to beat them 54-17.
They'll be playing the 24th. They'll be playing Nichols State. October 1st, that Saturday, JSU will be coming to town at JSU. I've went to those games out there before. They're usually good. Yes, Kennesaw State. That's where, you boys out there.
Yeah, one of the twins played there. I don't know if he's still playing there or not. I think he got a 5th year or 6th year. I don't.
Yeah, he either just graduated or he's got another year.
He had a good career there.
Austin Peay, then Eastern Kentucky will be in town. Then JSU will travel to Central Arkansas. Guys, it's a darn good show. Thank you, everybody, for hanging around with us. We've kept about between 7 and 15 people all night, even right here toward the end. They love hanging out with Big Matt and Uncle Dean over here, and we appreciate y'all. Definitely. Show 155, Dean.
155. 25 more. 26 more. Then we pass Seinfeld.
We could really, really have it going on then.
Then what we say we had 95 more to pass Andy Griffith.
We're going to do it too, daggone. We're going to do it because of you people. Thank everybody for tuning in and stopping by the Matt and Todd Show, the best dang sports show going. Applecast, Spotify people. I'm trying to get you uploaded and get that out the door for y'all in just a little bit. And we'll catch you guys through the week. And Thursday night, Piedmont, Anniston. Friday night, Cedar Bluff, Spring Garden. And I'll be at Center Munford game. And good luck to the Naps. They will be playing Victory Christian. And Sandrock will be hosting West End Patriots, an old school from over there around Walnut Grove. If you want a good story about Walnut Grove, go over down there to the Center Pawn Shop. Ask old Heavy Duty.
You got a good one?
Yeah. Cedar Bluff went up Walnut Grove one night up there in the 60s. By God, I was playing up there, and the guy broke my hands off. I mean,
they went 91 years.
Yes.
Lost to Valley Head.
Yeah, that's good.
Valley Head. The only game they lost all year. Jim Hurley was their running back.
Oh, Jim. He
Hoppy
was a
Morris was their inside linebacker.
Mean guys.
Yeah.
Tough.
Some guy, Chris.
Vietnam guys.
Had two good running backs, three. Ty Davis' uncle, Greg, he taught out here at
we will be
Center.
Be our games of the week over there. So good luck to everybody in your travels. And we can't wait for that. Collinsville Valley Head game will be a good one. You ready for that one too?
Week 10
Yeah.
or week 11, whatever.
We'll try to make it over, Ernie. Appreciate y'all. Thank you guys. God bless you. And y'all have a fantastic week. You are correct, Mark. We thank you for hanging around, buddy. We love you and the guys, and we'll see y'all real soon. All right? Keep your heads clear and your hearts full of God as always. Peace.